Today, I'm going to be counting down 10 of the best base locations in DayZ. You guys seem to have loved the last video, so today I'm compiling your suggestions and some of my own to create the ultimate DayZ base location list. The two most important factors to consider is the locations of the base in regards to nearby resources and then the cost to construct said base. Having said this, a lot of bases will be on the more expensive side. If you're looking for strong but cheap base locations, I recommend checking out the first video. But before you go anywhere, you're not going to want to miss this one. So let's get into our first location, transforming these once forgotten barns into a fortress. Located just on the edge of Serograd Quarry, a prime location. With one summer camp less than 1,000 meters away to the north and another just 2,000 meters to the south, you're really not going to struggle getting your hands on that also important hunting gear at this location. For military loot, Kamenk's military base is only 2,000 meters away and there's two medical buildings located within 1,000 meters of the base. Not to mention it's located right next to Serograd, perfect for gathering building supplies with multiple plank spawn locations around the construction site. This base is perfect for groups as you can start small, as it will only take 4 fences to take over one of the barns, which is only 2 boxes of nails and 72 planks. You can then expand into the other barn to use it as a garage or additional storage. However, the real strength in this base comes when you connect the two barns together. A perfectly placed watchtower can stop anyone getting in between the barns, although I prefer adding an additional wall so there's no gaps to shoot through. This then allows access to the roof, which can be fortified to provide a shooting position. It even has a perfect shot onto the Northern Highway, one of the busier roads in Chernobyl. You can fortify this in your own way, although I prefer half walls across the edges. The biggest flaw to this base has to be the gaps along the wooden wall. Players can see and shoot through these, so I recommend patching these up. Although it's not essential and the inside of the base can be fortified however you please, whether this is adding extra layers of protection or filling it with storage, you can really make the base your own. I actually really want to play a white build in this base, so if that's something that interests you, let me know down below. But before we go into the next design, a quick word from today's sponsor. World of Warships is a free-to-play game and available for PC. With new content released every month, whether it's new ships, in-game nations, cosmetics or even ship classes, you can always count on enjoying fresh gameplay experiences in World of Warships' stunning 12v12 arenas. With amazing graphics, World of Warships has more than 40 unique maps with dynamic weather, all of which have been updated with stunning new water effects and textures that make the game's seas virtually indistinguishable from the real deal. You can battle it out with multiple ship classes to choose from, conquering the oceans your way, using big hitting battleships, quick and devastating destroyers, do-it-all cruisers, sneaky submarines, and there's even aircraft carriers if the skies are calling your name. World of Warships has a passionate and dedicated fan base. Join the action in-game, participate in discussions on the forums and Discord channel, tune into live streams or participate in tournaments. Find your community in World of Warships. Did I mention the game is also available on console? You can download World of Warships using the first link in the description. Remember to use the promo code Warships to get exclusive rewards including a bunch of doubloons, credits, premium account time and a ship. Our second location is perfect for groups and located in Juneau. With just 7 fences you can wall off this entire island, although I recommend first starting the island takeover by occupying one of the houses on the island. Personally I recommend taking over the pub as it takes 3 walls to secure and is the largest, so perfect for starting a base, but any house will do really. The end aim of this design is to turn the island into a fortress. From here you can expand into taking over the rest of the buildings. This is perfect as each group member can have their own house, or you can divide your loot up between houses to make raiding more expensive. Once the houses are secure, you can fortify the entire block by placing watchtowers in these 3 gaps to create an inner compound. You can also add a watchtower here which will allow for roof access. The roof can then be additionally fortified, although the natural slopes create some really good angles. It's at this point where I'd upgrade the walls at the front to watchtowers to prevent people jumping over here, and once this is complete, the base becomes a powerful stronghold in the centre of Juneau. Our third location is located in Zelena Gorsk, less than 500 meters from a hospital, police station, military base, summer camp and lumberyard. It has everything you need, not to mention the numerous amount of helicopter spawns nearby. With just 7 walls you can wall off this entire compound. Although it's more practical to use 9 as it then secures all the buildings. Additional walls will also be needed to wall off the double red and these garages to prevent people shooting into your compound, although once this is complete your base is quite secure. Again, you can replace one of these walls with a watchtower for access to the roofs to provide shooting positions. You can then add additional walls to houses to better secure your loot. I recommend the pub or this triple story, although this is best left as a shooting position as it has a perfect shot onto the water well. Our fourth location is arguably the strongest building in DayZ for bases, and that's the apartments. They're located all across Chernobyl, in Electro, Cherno, Novaya, Sarograd, Novo and Berezino. They come in both a small and large variant, although don't underestimate the little ones. There's 5 floors to the top, whereas on the larger ones there's only actually 11 as the ladders cut out a decent chunk of the floors. And that's where the strength of this base comes from. You can simply build your base in the top few floors and fill every floor below it with gates. Now, when choosing an apartment to build in, I recommend choosing single apartments. Ones that are attached will allow players to climb up the free apartment and onto your roof, unless you plan on taking both over. This allows raiders roof access, which will give them alternative routes to raid, as they can raid from the top down, or perform this risky jump as seen on my TikTok. Perform this one daring jump. And I was in as easy as that. One way to prevent this is to make sure you secure all windows. This will stop anyone getting in via the balconies and also prevent players from being able to see into your base. While apartment locations don't provide any space for cars or farms, they are definitely one of the most cost-effective buildings to base in. And if you feel like becoming a rooftop sniper, you can easily upgrade an apartment into the best vantage point on the map. Our next location brings us back towards Sarograd, the Saragino ruins. It's a pretty unknown location while still being very close to the Northern Highway. Did you know it was here? It's right next to Sarograd, so it has all the same benefits of being near to Kamensk and the 2 previously discussed summer camps. The great thing about this base location is that it's surrounded in really high castle walls. The entire area can be secured with just 4 walls, which leaves you with this massive open area. For extra protection, you can place watchtowers so that the empty sides face a stone wall, creating your own little rooms. And if you're creative enough, this leaves endless possibilities, while giving the base a really unique feel. For the 6th location, I bring you Overlet's Factory, an OG clan location that people have been building in since the Arma 2 days, including myself. I used to enjoy placing safes between these gaps, but barrels will work just as well. This is my dream base location just because it has so much potential. You can simply start with just 2 walls in the core and expand outwards, walling off the 4 entrances to create the centre, then a balcony so that people can't jump down. This creates a huge inside area which you can even drive cars into. You can then expand the base in which any way you seem fit, creating extra rooms or shooting positions, really making the base your own. You can even wall off the entire compound with just a few walls, although keep in mind that people can vault over concrete ones. Although to prevent this, you can place upper frames behind them. This then allows you to have this entire location for yourself. One of the strongest features of this base is that it spawns a lot of industrial gear and has multiple plank spawns, so expansion is rather easy. It's also close to the coast, so getting geared up as a freshie will never be a challenge. And it even has a nearby pond for a sustainable food source. Our next location is located in the far northwest corner, the tunnel, and is arguably in one of the best positions in the map, situated between 2 hunting camps and less than 3 kilometers from Tissy, Northwest Airfield and Western Evac. Is a loot goblin's dream. And not only is it perfectly located, it's easily defendable. With only 2 entrances, these can be fortified with watchtowers to create an overpowered bunker, with loads of room which you can fill with cars, tents and all other goodies from your loot runs. Now, I do admit it can be a bit tricky to build in here with vanilla base building, but it's not impossible, although you can achieve much better results with Build Anywhere. Our next location is located just south of Vybor and is another great base location for amassing vast amounts of wealth, especially if you're a really good PvPer. This base is situated right next to VMC and is within a 5-minute run to the Northwest Airfield. You can start with the classic piano base build, which only requires 1 wall at the bottom of the stairs to secure. You can then add another wall at the top of the stairs and then a 3rd wall at the back room to create a really quick but hard to raid base. But do remember to wall off the window, as players like to shoot through these. You can then add an additional 3 walls to take over to ground floor. I like to make at least 2 of these gates, so it makes door camping a lot harder. Once this is complete, you can take over the tin barn opposite with just 2 walls to have a garage capable of storing multiple cars. From here, you can take over the piano compound using the same technique of upper wall frames to stop players vaulting over the concrete walls. The same thing can be done to the inner barn compound. These can then either be connected to form one larger compound, or watchtowers can be used to create a really cool roadblock base. Piano bases always make for good base locations as they're really big and easily defendable. A couple more of my favourite ones are located in Kabanino and the one at Pavlovo Farm. Moving on to our next location, right next to Krasnostav Airfield, the radio tower. A minute run from the unmarked military base, the airfield and Krasnostav town puts it in a perfect location. But the best part of this base is that with just 2 walls, you can take over the shed, and with an additional 2 walls, you can have this entire compound to yourself. Not the biggest base on the list, but if you don't mind a squeeze, it's perfect for a small group. It's even got its very own tower, which looks over the surrounding lands. And for our final location, schools. Located in Juneau apartments, Electro, Novaya, Berezino and Serograd, these bases can be an amazing location for really large groups. There's so many classrooms and a gym in the school which can easily be fortified so that every member of your group can have their own room. You can even add watchtowers at this gap to create your own little inner compound capable of storing vehicles. Do keep in mind that players can crawl through the windows of schools, especially the front ones with the use of a ledge, so remember to board them up. The possibilities with a school base are endless, but you'll have to be quick as there's only 5 of them located on the map. That's the end of our 10 locations today. Let me know which location was your favourite down below, and if you have any locations of your own that I haven't shared, I'd love to hear them.